Hi, it's Peggy Lee, and we are back with day 10 of Junk Journal January. Sorry, it's a tongue twister. And so today's prompt that we're going to do is called Pop of Color. So we're going to do a little mixed media background, and we're also going to, I've decided my pop of color is going to be this beautiful array of roses that I just cut out. This is a printable. I can't remember exactly where I found it. I'll see if I can figure it out. I want to say it was off the Graphic Fairy or Heather Ruby and Pearl.xo. So, because I do know that these beautiful prints here that I'm looking at are from Ruby and Pearl. So I do know that. And so I believe these roses were with it, but I'm not positive. So we're going to use this as our pop of color, and we're going to create a background with these papers. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to do a 2-page spread today because I have plenty of sheets in my book that we can do a two spreadsheet. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut some of these papers out, and we're going to lay them on our piece of paper. So I think we're going to use that one, and we'll probably use this one. We're not going to use the rose one. We'll leave that one out. So I'm just going to skip these cut down, and I'll save that for another day because it's really pretty. So we have these 3 sheets, and I have this sheet that I absolutely positively love, which we could use it as a whole sheet, but I'm just going to use like a piece of it. So we're just going to rip it in half. Put this other piece over here in case we decide we want it. Take off these other ends. And I'm just ripping, just to rip. You can use a pair of scissors if you want. I just find ripping is kind of satisfying. So, and ripping gives us jagged edges, and it's just really pretty. So we're going to start laying this down. Now, I do have a coffee dyed paper, and I also have a old ledger charge register. It's been handwritten in. It's old. So I'm going to use that too. So I'm not going to cover this up too much, but we are going to cover it up a little bit. So I think I'm going to put, this piece is going to go, I'm going to cut a little bit off this piece. We're just going to start laying down, because I also have, I also grabbed some, I have a box of leftover pieces and parts and some book paper that has gesso. Here's an old tracing paper or pattern paper, and it's really old because they don't make it like that no more. Here's a piece of paper that I used when I was wiping off my brush, so I have that. And then I have another vintage sheet music with some dotted stencil and gesso. So we might use these too as well for some added texture. So I'm just going to grab some Mod Podge, and we're just going to Mod Podge these on real quick. And my Mod Podge is getting old. It's getting down to the end of it, so it's a little chunky, but it will still work. And you're probably asking me, why am I using Mod Podge? I could just use a glue stick, and yes, I could just use a glue stick, but I found the other day that my glue stick actually came up. I had to go back and put tape where my glue stick was, and I was like, we live in the North Country where we have a wood pellet stove going. We have the furnace running, and so I think it's just too warm in here. for it. So, yeah. So I said, well, I guess we're gonna just not use the glue stick. You can use a glue stick. You just might have to re-stick something once in a while. So I'm not gonna cover this whole piece up because I like it. But I am gonna put a piece, I am gonna put some over here. Some paper over on this side too as well. I like the handwriting on this ledger piece. I like the handwriting. I like the color. I like the texture it gives the paper. So if you've never used digitals, you should give it a try because there are some really, really nice digitals out there. Of course, I'm a scrapbooker, so I'm a paper person. I love pattern paper, and I have almost everything under the sun. But I also really love to work with vintage papers, and sometimes where I live, it's kind of hard to find those. So going to a vintage printable is exactly where it's perfect for me because I don't get a chance to find these. And is that a hawk? Sorry, I'm looking out my window and there's a hawk eating something in my backyard. Huh, sorry. Squirrel. Okay, we're gonna add this little one. We'll add this one. We'll add it right here, I guess. Yeah, you don't have to cover up your coffee dyed paper because that's really pretty and you kind of don't want to cover it up a little bit. But and if you notice, I'm not really going over the top of my paper with my Mod Podge because I really don't need to. It's just in a journal. If it was on a canvas, then yes, I would definitely do it on the canvas. Sorry, the hawk has got me interested. I also pulled out some paintable wallpaper, and we're just going to put some of that on here. I'm just going to rip a little piece, and we're just going to add that to our project. I think right there. I'm trying to figure out what the hawk is eating. He's eating something quite big. I just hope it's not the kitty. It's the first time I've seen the hawk on the ground. He's always in the tree, but he's never on the ground. All right, so we have that. So pretty. Isn't it pretty? Yes, so pretty. Okay, so I think, where's my little pop of color? That's gonna look really pretty if I put it right there. It's gonna be really pretty right there. Or I could put it over here. No, I like it on this side. I like it on this side, so I'm trying to decide if I want something else up at the top, or I kind of like the coffee dyed paper peeking through. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna change that. I might add this over here just for some different texture. If I wasn't videotaping with my good camera, I would be grabbing my telelens to look at this hawk. He is beautiful. We don't ever get to see hawks this close up. Now it said pop a color, and I was actually going to paint with like watercolor or with paint, But then I got thinking about it. I'm like, I really kind of want to stick to paper. And so my first thought was, hello, this beautiful printable is such a beautiful pop of color. So I've already pre-cut it, except for this. I want to cut this little bit out really quickly. Okay, so I think this is gonna go here, and then I think our layout will be done. I mean, this is actually quite a simple and quick project, which I definitely like it being quick and easy. So we're gonna add some Mod Podge right to this printable, and I'm gonna put the whole printable on. I wasn't sure if I was gonna put the whole printable on or if I was gonna cut some of the roses off and only put half the roses on here. But I think we have plenty of room to put the whole piece on our background. So, I put that on a separate piece of paper so I wouldn't get it all over my table. OMG, look how pretty. It's so pretty. I am gonna put the Mod Podge on top because it is very dainty and I don't want, whoops, see, it's very dainty. And so I want to try to keep it intact. And with the, whoop, I just ripped. And with it being on in a journal, it's gonna get some wear and tear. Okay, I'll grab some more Mod Podge. And we'll just put it right on here. Oh, it's so cute. I wish you guys could see it in real life. It's so pretty. And I printed this. Oh, I just ripped that. Ugh. I printed this right off my inkjet printer.